Hello, thank you for joining me for this Essential Pilates class. Today I want you really to focus on how you're moving and where you're moving from. And this idea of core stability, I want you to find breath and movement in that posturing. So I'll refer back to that concept a lot of not being locked down and held, but having breath and having energy moving in the body. So let's just do a quick scan of the body, this ideal alignment of your spine. Some people call it neutral, some people call it good posture. So let's just start facing the front of our mat. I like to think of it as home base. So we're always going to be moving in and out of home base, but you want your body to know how to rebound back to that nice, long, efficient line with no strain on your joints. That is the goal. So let your body just slouch for a second and then go ahead and try to find this tall vertical line. The forehead balances on top of the sternum, right? The tendency can be to go forward, and I want it to move back in line with the sternum, the ears moving back over your shoulders, so the skull is sort of moving up. The sternum is balancing vertically on top of the pubic bone, creating a lot of space between the ribs and hips, lots of space between the ears and shoulders. The effort required just to sit tall is a lot. So I want you to have breath and energy there. And now we're going to leave home base. You're going to let the lower spine round. Exhale here. Inhale, you pass through home base, and then you lift your sternum to the ceiling. You can bend the elbows a little bit. Feel the upper back bending. And we'll take 4 of these. You round the lower back, pass through center, extend the upper back. Rounding and lift and round and lift. Adding in the arms 4 times, round. The arms lift, you inhale. When they get to shoulder height, you exhale and round again. Inhale up. Exhale, you round. Inhale up. Exhale, the pelvis moves under. Inhale up and exhale. Coming up to sitting, let's take a little lesson for our arms here. So as your arms move, how you move your arms is very important. This is equivalent to a tree or a plant, right? And the root of that plant is not here where it hits the ground. It's here, it's deep under the ground. So as the arm lifts, I want you to think of deeply rooting those muscles in all different directions. So there's energy, right? It's not stuck. So there's movement in the scapula, but stability at the same time. 2, and we're gonna do 4 of these. So let's go ahead and do 2 more, lifting the arm and gliding the shoulder down and wide. And if you haven't done 4, I'll do 1 more. Just kind of started doing it back up. And now taking the other side, I'll show it from the back. So as the arm lifts, I'm drawing down in my scapula, down and wide. So you only lift the arm as high as you can without lifting the shoulder up, right? Scapula widen down, and just 1 more, and down. So that will come up quite a bit in class. So from here, we're just going to take our hands forward, stretch the hips, and we're going to move onto all 4. So you come onto the knees, you uncross your ankles, and then setting yourself up with the hands underneath your shoulders. The knees are right underneath your hips. And finding this ideal alignment of the spine here in a quadruped position, right? So forehead lining up with the sternum, lining up with the pubic bone. And let's take care of our scapula first before we. So keeping the head in line, I want you to do 4 shoulder retractions, shoulder blade retractions, right? So the shoulder blades are going to move back around the spine, like you're creating a little valley around the spine, and then you widen. And again, your shoulder blades come together. Exhale, you push the floor away and widen. And again. 3, and 1 more, and wide. Stay wide there. Now let the abdominals relax completely, and then exhale 4 times. The abdominals draw in to support the spine. The abdominals relax. And as you exhale, pelvic floor engages to help you find your transverse, to help you find that deep layer of abdominals to support the back. And again, abdominals release. And as you exhale, feel as if your knees are moving towards each other to engage the adductors a little bit. Again, exhale. And stay. From here, we're just going to go and sit onto our side and spin our legs around. And let's move into some pelvic curls. So we roll all the way down onto the mat. You want to line your feet up all the way together and then step your toes open and then the heels open, and that will be about sit bone width distance apart. Shoulders are open in this neutral position, right? Pubic bone and hip bones in the same plane. You want to feel support on this curve of your lumbar spine, and rather than just tucking your pelvis, I want you to think of engaging your abdominals by dropping those back bottom ribs down, or engaging your stomach to drop those bottom back ribs down. So it's not so much about completely eliminating the space there, because everyone's back curves are really different, but the safest way or the safest position is going to be back bottom ribs down and a strong engaged abdominal wall. So we move with the shoulders wide. Exhale, you scoop the belly. You do roll through that sort of tucked position I just showed you, but it's from the abdominals. And you lift to one long hinge line. And you exhale, release the sternum bone first, and just walking through one vertebrae at a time, through the lower back, all the way out to neutral. And again, you exhale, you engage the abdominals so strong that it causes the pelvis to curl. You roll through every vertebrae in the lumbar spine and up into this one long line. And let's just hold it here. So this position is not arcing up from the lower back. It's a straight line from your knees to your hips, to your ribs, to your shoulders. You're pressing your shoulders back. Don't be afraid to use your arms. Press down in your hands. You exhale, roll down. One vertebrae at a time. Some people cannot articulate their spine for whatever reason, meaning you may have a contraindication from a back injury. So I don't mean if you just can't articulate your spine. That's something that you might want to work on. But if you have a real medical contraindication, the way to do this exercise would be to simply hinge. So you go hinge at the hip, you just press up. It's a really great exercise for people who have spinal injuries or old spinal injuries. So I'm showing it with articulation, but I'm scooping my abdominals, curling up, knees staying parallel facing the ceiling. Don't let them go out to the side. Lots of work under here. These are called hip extensors, your glutes, your hamstrings. So breath in at the top, exhale, roll down. You should feel those muscles working really hard. After all these decades, I still feel these muscles work really hard when I do this exercise. Hold it at the top. Really deep engagement in the abdominals and hip extensors. And again, exhale, scoop to curl. Holding it up at the top. Stay here. If you're ready, if not, just keep doing those, but if you're ready, just feel solid and strong in the back of the left leg and pretend that you were going to lift your right leg, but you don't, just to feel how much you can get the left side to work. And then pretending to lift the left leg, but really feeling the strong engagement up through the right. So trying not to let the hips move. Strong stance down in the left. Strong stance down in the right. And into the center. Reach your arms all the way overhead. Feel the roots of those arms. Go only as far as you can without lifting the shoulders. And then roll down the spine, one vertebrae at a time. From here, the arms come down. Again, exhale, scooping the abdominals, curling the spine up. So the reason I'm having you do this sort of shift of weight is so that you're making sure that you're not just using one side. Some people tend to work harder on their stronger side. So I want you to make sure that both butts are working really hard. And reach your arms again overhead. Exhale, roll down the spine. One vertebrae at a time. From here, the arms go out to a T. And you're going to take the right leg to tabletop, the left leg to tabletop, and it's a 90-degree angle with your knees and a 90-degree angle with your hips. The modification for this would be your feet stay down. And if they were down, your knees are just going side to side, which feels really nice too. But the rest of us are going to do this in tabletop. Bottom ribs, and the legs reach up and over to your right. Exhale, draw the legs into center. Legs go up and over to the left. Exhale into the center. Legs go right. And center. So as the legs go left, feel a nice wide stretch across your right arm. Exhale, center. As the legs go right, nice big stretch across your left arm. And really key to this exercise is that the top thigh reaches over your bottom thigh, meaning the top thigh doesn't lag back, right? So those knees stay matched up. And center, and just one more to the left. Exhale to the center. From here, take the hands behind your head, interlaced fingers, and you're going to lift your head, neck, and chest up, but I want you to press the head back into your hands. So the hands and head press against each other to create this cradle. And the work is happening at the deep, deep bottom of your rib cage. And there's deep flexion there from your abdominals. From there, you're going to lower your right foot down and pick it back up. And lower the left and pick it back up. And lower your right and picking it up. And lower your left and picking it back up. Hold it there. Lower your right and then left. A little quicker. 2 and down. 3 and down. 4 and down. 5, 6, 7. Trying to keep those back bottom ribs down. Hold here. Lower the other foot. Lower your chest. Exhaling to lift up. Hold it here. Head and hands pressing into each other. Elbows wide. Rotate up and over to the right. Rotate up and over to the left. And the right. And the left. And the right. And the left. So you're trying to let the bottom rib move to the opposite hip. Good. Into the center. Hands around the backs of your legs. Bend your elbows. Come up a little bit higher. And then just lower yourself all the way back down to the mat. Hug your knees into your chest. From here, you're going to press your knees and hands against each other. Nod your chin down towards your throat, and you're going to kick your shins into your hands so much that it pulls you up to sitting. So from here, we're going to go into a couple of more abdominal exercises. And at any time, your head can go down. You can lay flat and just really work on the stability of your pelvis against the movement of your legs. But we're going to roll down till we get to just our lower back here. Legs are at 90. I'm going to hold on to my right leg and stretch my left leg long. And so are you. And you're going to switch. And we'll do this slow to start just to get the alignment. So keep deep abdominals moving into the spine. And switch. Super slow at first. Eyes between your knees. And now we're going to go a little quicker. 8 more. And exhale 2. And 3. And 4. And 8. Good. Bend your knees and roll yourself back up. Good. From here, we're going to go into crisscross. So we roll back down. Hands go behind your head. Your fingers are interlaced. You extend the left leg long, rotate to the right. So it's this left rib towards the right hip. And rotate left, trying to keep your elbows wide. And exhale, 3. Exhale. And keep the head and hands moving back against each other. And we're going to do just one more to each side. Rotate and rotate, bending both knees. This time take your hands around your knees and then laying back down. So dropping your chin towards your throat first. Exhale, the abdominals pick you up. Good. From here, you're going to reach the arms and legs to the ceiling. Circle the arms around and then bend the knees in. Inhale up, exhale around. Inhale up, exhale around, and we're just doing one more. Inhale, exhale around, and slowly lower your head back down. Nodding your chin again towards your throat, exhaling to pick the head, neck, and chest up. We're going to take our hands behind our head, interlace all 10 fingers. Again, the head and hands pressing into each other. The bottom back ribs staying glued down to the mat, and you reach your toes towards the ground. You may not go all the way. You go as far as you can maintain the alignment of your spine too. And you should feel the abdominals working very, very hard. Think pelvic floor lifting to help find the transverse, that deep layer of stomach. And press. And then you can forget all about your pelvic floor. So the pelvic floor cueing is really just to help you to find the muscle that we're trying to activate and back up. I don't want you clenching the pelvic floor. And back up. And two more. Again, this could also be done with the hands, or sorry, the head down on the ground, just really working on that alignment. You may not go all the way because you want to try to avoid this happening in the lower back. And down. And I'm just going to do one more with my head down, pressing, drawing my ribs and hips a little closer towards each other, and in. And bend the knees into your chest. We're going to do another roll up, so draw your chin towards your throat. You push your hands and knees against each other and come up to sitting tall. So we're going to move into a spine stretch here. Your feet are flexed, the toes facing the ceiling, and we're finding this nice tall position here. Again, forehead, sternum, and pubic bone in the same line. Nod your chin towards your throat and just roll down the spine. And then rolling all the way back up. So placement of the upper arms and rounding down. So try not to hunch the shoulders and rolling all the way back up. Right? Find the roots of your arms, rounding down. Keep the legs nice and straight so you get a hamstring stretch as well. All the way back up. And up. And rounding through. Keeping the arms parallel to the floor. All the way back up. Last time, chin towards your throat. Folding over. And rolling the spine all the way back up, nice and tall. And good, legs together. We're going to roll back down to the mat here, scooping the belly, control your roll down, and the arms are going to go all the way up overhead. So we're going to take a roll up. You're inhaling, exhaling to peel the spine up and over into this shape. This C shape of shoulders, ribs, and hips stacking on top of each other and rolling yourself back. Keeping the legs pressing down. And again, inhale. Exhale, peeling the spine up and over. And rolling back. And arms up. Inhale. Exhaling, peel the spine off the mat. So it's okay to use your hands. You just want to really teach your spine and abdominals how to articulate. Inhale, and you can use your hands. So try not to veer to one side. Try to stay center, and you reach. And one more time. Arms back. Inhale. Exhale to peel the spine up and over. Good. And center. Lift tall. Bring your hands behind you, just stretching your fingers to face your toes. And stretching those wrists and just lifting your chest here. Just feel the openness of your sternum, feel the stretch in the wrists and biceps, and bring your feet in. So this is a modification of an exercise called back support, similar to crab walking that you used to maybe do when you were a kid, but really lifting your chest here. Pressing down in your feet, you're just going to lift your hips up and lower down. And for the first couple, I actually want you to keep your eye focus straight ahead. So pressing long in the arms, hips hinge up, eyes straight ahead. Lower the hips back down. So pressing from the backs of your legs, 2 more. Chest open and down. And lifting again. And lower down. Lifting. We're going to take 4 more. You lift. Now you can start to keep the chin back, keep your ears over your shoulders. You can start to look at the ceiling. What I want to avoid is that in the head. Slowly lower it down. And again, 3 more. And down. Lifting 2. And down. Keeping the shoulders away from your ears. And lowering all the way down. Excellent job. You're going to then bend your knees. We're going to transition back to all fours. And we're going to work on a little bit of planking. So the right leg steps straight and just hold that position. So you want to create a very strong bridge in your body. The knee is straight. The quad and hamstring is active. Hamstrings, quads. Stomach, that we've done a lot of work on, is into the spine. Strong foot grounding into the floor. The shoulder blades that we spoke of being nice and wide are in place. The head that I keep talking about, forehead and sternum in line. All of these things are long and strong. Then you can float the other leg up. Not about the arms, it's about everything in the body working. Holding this position, soften your right knee to the ground, and then you step it right back to plank, and we're going to do that 8 times, alternating sides. Lower the left and press. The right and press. And 3 and press. And down. And 6, 7. And then let's just do 1 more on each side. So I can't count very well. Hold it here into a nice long plank position. Slowly lower both knees down and just stay here for a second. So I really, really think about long in the neck, long in the lower back. Your pelvis is in line. So when we're in plank, 2 things tend to happen. People either do this or they're perfect, which is very rare, including me. I'll watch this video and be like, it was all wrong. But that's the other tendency, right? So we want to you want to be right in the middle. So there's the pelvis lining up with itself, and then there's where the pelvis is in space. You need to have both. So finding the pelvis in line with itself, and from here, you're just going to press your heels down, pressing your chest back through into a downward dog position that most of you probably know from doing yoga at some point. Just gliding your shoulders wide down and into their secure place, that root system of the upper back. And then you're going to reach back out to plank. Abdominals pull in first, and then you go into a downward dog. We're just doing 4 of these. That's 2. Reaching out through the crown of your head. Pull up in the abdominals and reaching back to downward dog. And again, reaching out to plank. And then back to your downward dog. Up and out last time into plank. And then from here, you're just going to lower your right knee, lower your left knee, and then you're going to turn to face this side of your mat. So let's lay on your left side. So I'm on my right, cueing you the opposite so you can just mirror your screen. And we're going to take side lifts here. So in side lifts, you want to have the waist, the underside of your waist really lifting up off the mat. The bottom palm is facing up. And this hand is just here to help you balance on your side. So from here, you. Keep that bottom waist lifted, but as your legs lift, the waist presses towards the ground. And then you lower. And up 2, and down, and 3, and down, and lift 4, 5, and 6, and we'll take 2 more. And down, keeping your tail underneath you last time, and down. Good. We're going to bend the bottom knee, and you're going to line up your shin with the front of your mat, and then lift this leg, the top leg, out to your side. So let's talk about this side position again. So when you're on your side, still finding ideal alignment, right? So the tendency can be, I know I do this a lot when I sleep on my side, is my head is so far forward. Your forehead is back in line with your sternum. So really line the arm up so you can just lay right on your bicep, right? And then your tail, you don't want to stick your butt out. You want to keep it underneath you so that you can feel the back of your leg and the side. And if you're really lined up with the hips square, this position will be a ton of work and you'll feel a nice open stretch in the front of the hip. And just lowering and lifting 8 times. 1, and a 2, 3, and a 4. Keeping the waist lifting. And 3 more. Last one, hold it here. Really straight leg, little circles here. So as you circle the leg around, you don't want the pelvis to go with you. So really stable through here as the leg is moving. And then reverse the circles for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, and 1. Hold it there, reach it out a little longer, lower it down, use your hand to help you up. And then we're going to go into a little side bend. And then we're going to do some side lifts. So this is just, you're going to be down on your forearm with the fingers facing forward. But this is just a variation on a side lift. There's so many. But you're going to take the top foot, the heel, and ankle it, and put it in the front of the bottom ankle joint. So you're going to put the top heel into the front of your ankle of the bottom foot. My gosh, that sounds like a lot, but you're just going to put the top leg in front of the bottom leg. So you want to shrug the bottom shoulder for just a second and then pull it down, right? So again, finding the root of your arm, finding that upper back, and the shoulder lifts and draws down. That's what I want you to work on. So really staying, lift, keep this lifted, and then lift your hips up and lower it down, and lift and lowering down, and lift and lowering down. 1 more time, and now lifting the arm 4 more. 1, and down. Lots of work in the obliques. With the hip, you're getting a stretch under here if you do it right, and really keep the shoulder away from your ear. And last time, lower down and rest. Good, bending into the center, and then you're going to go over to your other side. Bottom palm is up, legs are long, and you're actively lifting off the mat here with the waist, reaching the legs long and lower down, and lifting 2, and down, and 3, and down, lift 4, and 5, 3 more, up, and as the legs lift, the waist drops to the floor, and last time, lowering down. Take the bottom knee, shin lining up with the front of your mat, top leg long, tail, so the pelvis is neutral, pubic bone, hip bones in the same plane, lining up with the sternum and the forehead. And it will cause all of the correct muscles to work everywhere. And down, and lift, and 4, and 5. Feel the side and back of this leg. Last time, 8 little circles in each direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. Reverse, finding calmness in this movement and finding energy, activity in the rest of the body that's trying to be still against it. Reach long, lower it down, and coming up onto your side, onto the forearm, fingers facing front, legs are long, top heel anchored into the bottom ankle joint. And so from here, I want you to get the shoulder to your ear, just to challenge yourself on this part, right? So shoulder up to your ear, so you can kind of feel the challenge that's happening. Some people will do this automatically. Most of us are going to want to shrug the shoulder and sink. So really pulling it down. Good. And then lifting. So keeping this the whole time, lifting the hips. And as you lower, don't change the shoulder stability. And down. 2 more, and then we'll add the arm. Up. Arm. Lift. 2. And 3. 1 more, up. And good, lower down. And coming up to sitting, we're going to take spine twist, and then we'll go on to our bellies. So sitting up nice and tall, feet flex, toes to the ceiling, arms wide to a T. And finding this stack, right? Forehead, sternum, pubic bone in line. You're going to rotate to your left. 2 breaths. Rotate to the right. 2 breaths. Rotate left and right and left and right. Grow taller each time, not letting the front arm cross over. So you want to keep your arms wide to a T. Exhale and exhale. 4 more. And keeping your feet together. And last time, into the center. Good, arms down. Let's roll onto our belly. So flipping yourself over. Let's start with the hands. So pay attention to this setup because it really makes or breaks the exercise. The wrist here lines up with the top of your shoulder and is right outside your mat. So lining this up right outside your mat, and the elbows are down. So wrists in line with your shoulders, elbows are down as wide as your mat, like, or right outside your mat. You're going to start all the way down. Review of ideal alignment in a prone position on your belly is the same as everywhere else. Pubic bone and hip bones in the same plane. It's just that the tendency can be different. So the tendency may be to do this, right? Whereas when we're sitting, it's so hard because we tend to slouch because of tight hamstrings. So think of the pubic bone pulling up, the abdominals pulling up. It will cause a light engagement here around the hip extensors, perhaps, depending on your posture. But the abdominals stay lifted, and then all of the effort is really in the upper spine. So your shoulders roll open, you keep the elbows down into the floor, and then you lengthen out the crown of your head, and you do this very small upper back bend, just kind of around your shoulder blades. Long and low. The neck is in line. You're identifying the muscles that you want to take over all of the work that tends to go into the neck or the lower back. Abdominals lift, lengthening out the crown of your head. So you're protecting your neck, you're protecting the lower back, and trying to teach your body how to move from a little section of your spine that really doesn't always like to move, and down. Even people who are really flexible from the vertebrae above or below where we are working right now. So it's an identifying exercise. Stay up at the top. Imagine that your hands and elbows are going to move towards your feet. I don't really want them to, but I want you to almost traction on the floor. And lowering back down. Last time, reaching up and out the crown of your head. And lowering back down. From here, the arms reach long to your sides. Hands touch the sides of your body without grabbing on. The shoulders are open. Same idea. Abdominals are up, reaching out through the crown of your head. 4 times we lift up and lower down. It's long and low. Lifting up 2 and down. Lift 3. Last time, reach 4. Hold it here, flip the palms to face down, reach the arms out to the sides, and just pull. 3, 2, 1. I suggest lowering your chest just a tiny little bit, and then reach your arms all the way overhead, trying to keep the shoulders wide and down, and hold it here, and lower everything all the way down. So the tail is under, abdominals are up. You're going to reach long through your legs and actually like little flutter kicks here, right? So the knees are straight, activating the hip extensors here, like you're swimming. And then one more set of 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, hold. Keep your knees off the mat. From there, you're going to reach your right arm and lengthen your chest up and lowering down. Reach your left arm long and lifting your chest up and lower the hand down. Keep your legs up. Reach your right arm long and lifting and lower and lifting the left arm and lower. One more like that to each side. Lengthening out the left arm and lower down. Lower everything down. And then from here, you're going to take your hands in underneath your shoulders. Legs can be a little bit wider for this one. Abdominals lift, reaching out through the crown of your head, and you continue lifting. This time your elbows can come off the ground, and you can go as far as you can go without dipping too much into the lower back. So I'm showing you a somewhat full expression of this exercise, but a lot of people just go to here. It's all about how you're doing it and where the movement is coming from. Like I was saying in the beginning, right? So if you're staying in the right muscles, it's not about creating the same shape as someone else. It's about moving with efficiency. So working into that upper back and evenly working the spine and lowering down. Active through the backs of your legs. So we're going to do one more lifting up. Again, just really low. If that's what you need, I'll show the last 2 low. And again, reaching out through your crown, the crown of your head, and lower down. From here, you're going to take your hands underneath your chest and just push yourself back into a rest position. Let's bring our legs together and just stretch your arms forward. Breathing into those back ribs, and then exhale. Feel the abdominals drawing into the spine. Again, inhale, widening those back ribs like floodgates, opening. Exhaling, feel the floodgates close. Inhale. On your exhale, you're going to actually roll up to sitting. And then you're going to turn to face the side of your mat, face me. Sitting with the legs crossed. And like we did in the beginning, sitting tall should feel freer than it did in the beginning of class, and just let the spine round and lift tall and round. Let the arms go forward if you feel good about that, and open and exhale. Inhale, exhale. 2 more, open and round and up and round. Let's come up to sitting, arms to the side, and just side fall, side bend to your right, keeping weight in the left sit bone, and lifting up and bending, side bending over to your left, keeping weight in your right sit bone, and up and over. And over and into the center. Reach the arms all the way up, lift the sternum, and then bring the hands together and just lower the arms down but grow taller in the spine. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.